K9 Tek, badge number 243, will be 10:42 for his final shift.
Attention all units, Deputy K9 Tek is 1042 for his final tour of duty. We would like to thank K9 Tek for his 38 and a half dog years, otherwise known as 5.5 years of distinguished service.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Empowering True Crime. I'm so happy that you're here. I have a very special guest, Lt.Nehls, who I'm going to share the story a little bit now in a moment, but you may have seen his very emotional K9 final shift with his K9 Tek. So let me introduce Lt.Nehls. Lt.Nehls has been employed with Dodge County for nearly 10 years and is currently lieutenant at the Dodge County Sheriff's Office. He oversees the Criminal Investigations Division and is Drug Task Force Commander and SWAT Team Commander. Apart from these areas, he's also been a field training officer, drone operator, sergeant of 3rd Shift Patrol, and of course, a K9 handler. Lt.Nehls received the Medal of Valor in 2014, honorable mention in the County Law Enforcement Officer of the Year in 2015, and a life-saving award in 2015. Right before his employment with Dodge County, he worked approximately 1 year with Emmett and Lebanon Police Department. Lt.Nehls graduated from University of Wisconsin-Parkside with a bachelor's degree in criminal justice while playing collegiate baseball on an athletic scholarship. When he's not working, he enjoys hunting, ice fishing, golfing, and working around the house on his garden and orchard with his wife and kids. That sounds amazing. I want an orchard. So we'll get into some of your life at home with Tek and all that. But let's start with this video. I saw it. I stumbled upon it. It was actually the first time, maybe the first or second final shift I ever saw with a K9. And it just pulled on my heartstrings. Clearly, a couple of million people also. So what was going on, though, in that moment? Obviously, you didn't know it was going to take off. But what was going on for you knowing that was on that day in that final moment?
Well, I would say that the weeks leading up to it, it's always a moment that we dread as a handler. But at the same time, it's also a bittersweet moment, too, because part of the reasons that I wanted to retire Tek at kind of an earlier age was his health issues that he was having. And I wanted him to be able to go in and have a good, healthy retirement and be able to serve out some fun dog years at home with our family. So the whole day was very emotional. It was probably the longest 8-hour shift I've worked because you're just constantly thinking about that final moment where you're going to check off duty for the last time with him. But we're at a good point now, and I think he's definitely enjoying his retirement.
Mm. And so now knowing that that video went viral, how does that feel, knowing that so many people were touched by your bond?
It was crazy. I didn't expect anything like that. My wife actually said the same thing that you said. She's never seen K9 retirement videos like that before, but me being a K9 handler, I follow so many K9 pages and just, I make a lot of friendships with other handlers around the state and the country. So I do see them quite often. So to me, it was just a proper send-off for K9 Tek and just a memory to have for the rest of my life. And then after we posted the video, I would say like the next day or 2 days after that, somebody sent me that a Facebook page in Georgia shared it. And I saw the views and the millions of views that it was getting on that. It was super humbling and incredible. It just shows that how much our community and our people love our K9s and our furry 4-legged partners.
Yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm not sure if I saw it originally on TikTok or through that Georgia page. I might have seen it through the Georgia page and then ended up, investigating further and saw that it got, at the time, maybe like 1 million views. Now it's at 2 million views on TikTok. So clearly.
Yeah, it's crazy. All the social media platforms kind of picked it up and everybody's been sharing it. It's gone viral for sure.
Wow. So you were with Tek for 5.5 years. What would you say is the biggest impact of having a K9 as a partner?
I would say the comfort of knowing that he's always there in case I need him. He was trained in handler protection. So it's always very comforting knowing, especially when I'm working on night shift and you're by yourself and your backup could be 10, 15, 20 minutes away. It's always nice knowing you have that partner there that's willing to help you by the push of a button, that he can come out of the car and help me, and he'd be willing to do everything he can to help his dad out. One of the coolest parts, I would say, another cool aspect of it is all the training that we do. We're constantly trying to make ourselves better, and we we'll put ourselves in scenarios and try to do things that are very difficult, not like your standard patrol, but it's always really rewarding to see the growth that you can become as a team and do the things that you didn't think was possible in the first year that you were together.
Mm. Yeah, because I can see that bond just starting to form even with Deputy Meyer, just a couple of months. And it's funny, both of you said you referred to yourselves as dad to the dogs. Is that typical with canine handlers?
So yeah, I mean, to me, they're a part of our family. He's home with me every day, and you know, I'm dad, and he knows that, and I'm probably his favorite person in the world, and he definitely still gets a little angry at me when I come to work every day, but he gets to spend time at home and play outside and get some running in with the kids and playing fetch and doing all the fun stuff that a dog should enjoy doing.
I totally get it. I mean, I'm definitely my dog's mom from the beginning, so I totally understand. So, okay, so you told me the good side, the rewarding side. How about what was challenging, or what would you say was the most challenging part of working with a canine as a partner?
Um, Definitely the most challenging portions are when you're first put together, right? You go to school together for a month. That's what we did, and you're getting a brand new dog that you've never met before. It was an instant bond between me and Tech. I had a choice between him and three other dogs at the kennel to choose from. He made that choice easy for me. Luckily, it was just an instant bond. I knew right away, and to be honest, when I went to the kennel, I knew what dogs were there, and I was 99% certain I was going to pick a different dog, and I ended up putting Tech on a leash, and I ended up picking Tech instead of the dog that I really thought I was going to get, just because he had that bond with me right away. So the difficult parts were definitely going to that school for the first month. He comes in as a green dog, not knowing what he's really supposed to do. So it's just a huge learning curve for him and myself, because I don't know what I'm supposed to do. He's the first dog that I've ever handled as a canine. So there's a lot to learn, and that part can be pretty intimidating. I would say in our circumstances, unfortunately, with the medical issues that he did have, that was also one of the most difficult parts that we had to go through too. Him going through two pretty major surgeries and not knowing if he was going to be able to work again or be a normal dog.
Hmm. And so obviously canines are a huge asset in your department. In general, what would you say would be like maybe like the top reasons to have canines in a department? I'm sure that some can't afford it, some departments can't afford it or don't have the resources. So what would make would I guess from your perspective the reason to have canines on a police department team?
I'd say there's two really big reasons. The first one is just for patrol capabilities, and unfortunately, our nation has seen an uptick on drug overdoses and drug overdose deaths. And one thing that these partners can do for us is attempt to stop some of those things from coming into our communities.
Mm-hmm.
K9 Tek had a really successful career on the amount of arrests that he had for drug and narcotics. And he's also there to protect myself as well as other officers that are on the scene of a potentially dangerous situation. I would say that another big benefit to the K9 program with our agency, as well as many throughout the nation, is just that community involvement that we get to deal with. We're constantly going to schools, either doing school sniffs or just going to show kids the K9s, or even adults. People love the K9 programs, and they really get to like to see the demonstrations of what the K9s can do. And I think that just brings the community relations and the police relations together through our furry partners.
Yeah, that's a great point that you do the demonstrations at schools and I guess also with other communities, centers and things like that. How about would you give like maybe a couple of tips on the best way to interact with canines, because they're of service, right? So they're working dogs. What do you typically tell like maybe kids or people when you're out working with your dog?
So I would say, at least in my area, we're super fortunate on adults teaching their kids not to pet or touch service animals unless they are able to ask for. So I would say that's the number one tip I could give to anybody. If they are service animals, they are trained to, protect their handlers. And if I'm at a demonstration out in the public with my dog, we want to make sure that it's controlled. And anytime they do see a service dog, whether it be for medical service or police service or military service, everybody wants to pet the K9s, but make sure you ask the handler who's there if it's okay if you do pet the dog. Luckily, K9 Tek was a is a super lovable dog. He enjoys his pets from numerous types of people, so I never really had to worry about much. But we also have to make sure that we ask him that it's okay with the handler because all dogs are different.
Hmm. Right. I'm just thinking, from a public safety standpoint, a lot of people, like you said, want to pet the dogs. And so, right. So number one, always ask. Always ask the handler if you're in doubt. Actually, always, always ask, right? Oh, every single time. Right.
I'm always asking. You might see other people there petting the dog first, but we don't want somebody to come out of nowhere, especially from behind the dog, and try to pet it just because they see somebody else there petting the dog. So just make sure that you wait your turn and be patient.
Hmm.
You don't want to overwhelm the dog and overstimulate him with 10, 15 people trying to reach their hands in and try to pet him because that can be very stressful for any animal of that matter.
Sure. Right. So as I mentioned, I did interview Deputy Meyer about his story, his K9 Cade, who came on the team after Tek retired, correct? And so from knowing that, you're seeing this new green dog, what was from your perspective, and I'm going to put a link so that anybody can see the interview that I had with Deputy Meyer. But from your perspective, how do you feel about that story? And he was inspired, K9 Cade's name was inspired by a boy who tragically died in a car accident. From your perspective, can you add any insight to that story?
I would say I was fortunate enough to be able to go to the ceremony where they presented the check to our K9 fund, which we were so super grateful for. The amount of good that the family has been able to do out of something that's so tragic that happened is amazing to see. It just gives us so much hope for the community and the community that we serve. I know that Deputy Meyer has been super grateful and has built some good relations with that family, and I'm excited to see that relationship grow and just see K9 Cade be able to go to a lot of their events that they host in memory of their son, and to continue to build that relationship and let the community see the positive outcome that we can have.
Hmm. Amazing. So K9 Tek has retired. What is he doing? What is his favorite pastime? What is he spending his time doing now that he's not working?
Well, I would say he's a big lover of being outside at any moment that he can. Anytime I get up from a chair or act like I might be going to a door that leads outside, he gets all happy and excited. We're fortunate enough to have a big yard where he can run and play as much as he wants. I have two young kids, 2 and 3 years old, that love being outside as well. So we do spend a lot of time as a family outside, a lot of playing and the kids playing with their splash pads or whatnot. And Tek just loves chasing his ball around the kids, letting the kids throw the ball. And he's probably getting more exercise now as a retired dog running around the yard than coming in the car with me every day.
Nice. Okay. So yeah, so maybe he'll like youthen. I don't even know if that's a word, but just have more vitality in his last years when he's just hanging out being a dog. I love that.
Yeah, he's got we're fortunate enough somebody donated a huge like Tempur-Pedic dog bed for him on his retirement. So late at night we'll go downstairs and watch a movie or something. He's just lounged out on a big new bed, and he's definitely a fan of retirement. I think. I mean, it was very difficult for him to be able to give it up and see me leave every day, but I think we've transitioned really well, and he's realized that it's not so bad to stay at home too.
Mm. So I know that he actually just became a member of I think it's called let me see here, the Project K9 Hero program, right? And it's going to financially take care of his medical bills. So that's amazing. Can you share a little bit more about how you linked up with that organization and how they support retired canines?
Yeah, so my master trainer, Jesse Smith from Giuseppe K9, when Tek retired, when he's about to retire, he let me know about this program that was available, and that there was a website that you could sign up for. They get a lot of applicants for it, and they can only select a few just because of the financial obligations that it takes. So I went on that website, I signed up for it. And I would say about 2 months later, I was eating dinner with my kids at home, and I saw my phone ringing. It was a phone number from out of state, and I thought it was probably just a telemarketer. And it's hard to talk on the phone anyway with a 2 and a 3-year-old eating dinner because it's just crazy. We were out done eating, and I see it left me a voicemail. I said, well, that's not normal for a telemarketer to do. So I listened to my voicemail, and it was Jason from Project K9 Heroes, who broke the news to me that Tech was selected as their next recipient for their program, which was an amazing phone call, and we're super, super grateful for the opportunity for them to select us and be a part of their program.
That's amazing. Wonderful. And so they're going to be providing medical or financial support for medical bills. Is there anything else that the organization helps with?
Yeah, so they take care of anything medical from here on out till Tech's last days. They also cover his monthly medications even.
Oh, wow.
He was on some medications that can be pretty expensive. He does have a pretty severe allergy issue that if he's not on the allergy medications, he gets bad ear infections and skin rashes and things like that. And he's also on some joint medications, which have greatly helped him after his spinal surgery that he received. So without these medications, obviously when he retires, the financial responsibility falls on me because he's technically my dog. I buy him from the agency. So potentially that saves my family and I, $150 to $200 a month to purchase these things, which is great.
Right. And plus, if there are any other major issues, surgeries, or anything like that down the road, that's covered by this organization as well.
Yes.
Okay. Wonderful.
Something would come up, the organization just asked that I give them a call and let them know it's coming. And I actually called them a week ago to get his monthly medications and no questions asked. They just had me go there, pick them up, and had no issues with paying with them.
That's amazing. I'll make sure to put a link to that organization as well, because I believe they're also taking donations from the public. So that will be a wonderful organization to donate to. If you love dogs, which I do, and I think most of the people who are probably going to watch this love dogs and want to support. I think it's retired police canines and military dogs, correct?
Yeah. So I would say they do have a lot of retired military dogs in their team because they fall in the same category as police canines. Once the dogs retire, a lot of times we try to give them back to their handlers to live with them and their families. And unfortunately, the finances are just kind of stop after their retirement. So it's a great program that they put together. And myself, as well as I think there's like 234 recipients of that program now, are very grateful.
Wonderful. So apart from this organization, or maybe this organization, is there something that you'd like to raise awareness for, an initiative or project or something that you really want to just, raise some awareness for?
So I think we touched on it a couple times. What a lot of people don't realize, especially here in Wisconsin, I can't speak for other states, but canine programs are typically all donated funds that pays for the dogs and their equipment and their food and their medication bills. These typically aren't things that are budgeted by the departments to pay for these dogs. It can be pretty pricey. So we do have a lot of fundraisers. In my department, we host a golf tournament every year. We also do other odds and ends to raise money to help support our canine program to be able to continue to run a canine as well as feed them and take care of them the best that we can. So I'd say the biggest awareness that I would have specifically here in Wisconsin is we appreciate the donations to various organizations throughout the state to help pay for our canines. And without the community, we unfortunately wouldn't have as many canines in the state as we do.
When is your next fundraiser?
Our next golf outing, which I believe is the 12th or 13th scramble annual, is September 8th of this year. That'll be at the Beaver Dam Country Club. So we'll be sending out the letters and Facebook posts here probably within the next couple of weeks, and hopefully somebody watching this video will maybe see it.
Please let me know. What I'll do is I'll share it when we're closer to that date, but I'll also add the link here in the description as well, so that everyone sees it. Yeah. And
faces at the golf outing, which is awesome. It's great to see. Everybody likes to come and support every year, but it's also nice to see some new faces come in and play some golf too. So if you're not a big golfer, don't worry about it. It's more for fun, and we have a really good time and get to meet a lot of our community members that support us.
Amazing, wonderful. I actually didn't know that about raising that many of the local departments might be raising funds for to take care of the canines and all their expenses. So that's great to know, and absolutely yes, let's raise some awareness for that event coming up for you. And thank you so much. I really appreciate you and K9 Tek, and I know that everyone they can see the bond that you had with him and that others have with their canines, and it's just so special to see. And thank you so much for the service that you do for our community.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Tek he's a special pup, and you know, I compare it to everybody. Most people have pets of their own, right? Dogs or cats or whatnot. And imagine bringing your dog to work with you every day, and he's literally with you 24/7. So after 5.5 years of that, it comes a pretty intense routine that you're constantly with each other. So that last day was definitely a difficult day, but we have transitioned to a good place now, and he's enjoying retirement.
And I'm so glad it was memorialized, and now millions of people can see it and know that how special that bond is. So thank you so much, Lieutenant Nehls. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you for your service, K9 Tek. Enjoy your retirement and happy birthday this month.
I showed this actually a little behind the scenes, but I take my dog to work every day as well because I work from home. This is Javier, the Havanese, and having an orchard. How amazing.
Just to clarify, we just planted a bunch of fruit trees. So it's at that stage where we're just trying to take care of it all.
Yeah.
Nonstop. Every time we get home from work, we're like, oh, we got to go out and water. And I don't know where you're at. What state are you in?
I'm in Florida.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we've got like no rain in the last month.
Right.
So after we get home from work, get the kids from daycare, and we're out watering everything that we can with the kids, and the kids are just great, and they enjoy going out there and doing it too.
Yeah. I just moved from an apartment to a house. Just amazing having trees. And so I know when you're like, you know, just playing in the yard, it's so amazing. Especially having a dog and with kids. I mean, it's great to have that backyard. And I actually, what we have here is mango trees. And so I'm out, and those mango trees they're ripe now, so they're starting to fall. So every time I go in my backyard, I'm picking mangoes, and so it's like a plethora of mangoes.
Be able to go out there and pick out your own fruits, whatever you want.
I should call it my orchard.
If you enjoyed this video, let me know your favorite part in the comments, and please like and share the video, and make sure to subscribe so we can continue to spread more empowering news in the world. Thank you!